Hi, everybody. This is Saad. I hope that this episode finds you well. By the way, for today's show, I'm changing my name to Dr. Saad The God, and you'll see in a second why. A hat tip to two followers on X who pointed to that. You'll see in a second why I'm mentioning this. So yesterday, Charlamagne Tha God, what a piece of garbage that guy, was saying that, the fact that Stephen Colbert's show has been canceled or will be canceled next year is a manifestation of, fascism and authoritarianism and all that. So I put out the following post yesterday. Dear Charlamagne Tha God, I hope that this message finds you well. I was keen to write you a quick note to express the extent to which I think that you are a lobotomized idiot. In a capitalist society, there is this thing called the free market. It is linked to this other thing called maximizing profits for shareholders, a fiduciary responsibility. Stephen Colbert has been losing $40 to $50 million per year. Advertisers were fleeing his show. He was as funny as Ebola. Hence, CBS took the decision to cancel his show after allowing it to operate for years in the red. That you would construe this as the telltale sign of fascism and authoritarianism suggests to me that your cranium is filled with pure shite. Also, stop calling yourself the God. You are a gargantuan narcissist imbecile. Have a great evening. Professor Dr. Saad The God. I added this now. So let's add a bit to this. So Adam Smith, the Adam Smith, the Wealth of Nations, spoke about the invisible hand of the market, recognizing that the law of supply and demand has a way of establishing efficient, rational prices. So, for example, the reason why diamonds cost more than coal is because diamonds are rare, coal is not. So, by the theory of supply and demand, which we now often teach to 3-day-old pigeons, then we know that diamonds are going to cost more to buy than coal. Here's another example from biology. Women's gametes are rare and few. On the order of women will have 400 eggs that are fertilizable between their menarche, the onset of their menses, to menopause. Men's gametes are plentiful in the order of 250 million spermatozoa per ejaculate. One is very rare and scarce. The other one is very abundant and easily and cheap. Therefore, this is why parental investment theory predicts that the sex that has the greater minimal obligatory parental investment is going to exhibit a certain pattern of sexual dimorphisms. They'll be smaller, they'll be more sexually judicious, more sexually choosy. They will have lesser testosterone, and you find this across all sexually reproducing species. So I can take even a universal biological law and link it to these market realities of supply and demand, scarcity and abundance. Hence why Adam Smith is the brilliant, one of the key developers of economic theory. We have a thing called rational choice theory that explains that people pursue their rational, best interests. We have in rational choice theory, we also have the maximizing utility and maximizing your income as a central feature. When you're facing different choices, you will, all other things equal, ceteris paribus, choose the one that maximizes your utility or whatever metric you're using. There's a very, very long tradition as part of economic theory, behavioral economics, rational choice theory, capitalist economies that explains how these things work. So, Stephen Colbert, who is less funny than Ebola, he used to be a lot funnier when he used to be on the Jon Stewart show. Then he decided to become a political hack, became completely unfunny. He makes, I don't know how much, $16-20 million a year as a salary, but his show loses $40 to $50 million. Now, it is a surprise that they wouldn't have canceled him much earlier. Undoubtedly, they didn't, because he espouses the political positions that CBS agrees with. But even CBS, a degenerate political hack organization, decided at one point, by looking at the books, that we can't continue to lose 40 to $50 million. So Charlamagne the moron, what happens then in that case is they say, shall we lose another 40 to $50 million for the next 5-10 years? Or do we stand the chance of perhaps being sued by our shareholders because we are not engaging in actions that maximize our profit-seeking motives as a publicly traded company? Are there any words there, Charlamagne the asshole, that you didn't quite understand? Let me give you some other examples. Kamala Harris lost not because Americans are afraid of an individual that has lady parts of color as her genitalia, but because Kamala Harris has the intelligence of my glasses. When I wear my glasses, through osmosis, I imbue them with my infinite wisdom. Therefore, my glasses in an IQ test against the lobotomized cackler Kamala Harris, my glasses would win the IQ test. Therefore, 75 million plus Americans who voted for Donald Trump didn't do so because they said, look, first, we can't stand a woman that has her skin nude. That's intolerable to us. But by the way, it was tolerable when we voted for Barack Obama twice. But we also can't stand if she's got genitalia that is not penis-shaped. So because of these two reasons, we voted against her. There might be another reason, maybe because she was complete, useless, degenerate, lobotomized imbecile. The WNBA players who, if I tied one of my hands, I'm not a tall guy, if I tied one of my hands behind my back, and with my current bad knee, which tomorrow I will have to go to get an MRI at the doctor's office, if I were to play against the WNBA and I gave them 30 points lead, I would probably win. I'm 60 years old. So the WNBA loses massive money. Nobody gives a damn about the WNBA. I'd rather watch Adam Schiff pick his nose than watch the WNBA. And yet they have shirts, pay us what you owe us. Therefore, it should be the women that owe the WNBA money, since that business loses $40 million a year. The reason why men are paid more in the NBA is because we want to watch what they're selling, which is, get ready, this is going to be very controversial. Men play basketball better than women. So a high school team in any jurisdiction in the United States, boys team, will trash the WNBA by probably 50 points. Let's see, do we have any data that supports that? Oh, we do. And you can go to this book to look for some of these examples. Parasitic Mind, go and buy it right now. And by the way, please subscribe to this channel. Don't be an asshole. Subscribe to this channel and support those who put everything on the line to fight for reason. Okay, it'll take you 2 seconds. Just press the subscribe, press the bell icon. All right, let's go back. The U.S. national team, women's national team in soccer, has won the World Cup, has won the Olympics. So they are the Argentina, Brazil / France of the women's game, right? They played an under 15, if my memory serves me right, the examples are in the Parasitic Mind. They played an under 15 local boys club, not the U.S. boys national under 15 team, which would have been a huge embarrassment to lose against 15-year-old boys, 14-year-old boys. They played against a club team, like a team from Dallas that smoked them at the level of like a basketball score, 4,337 to 0. So the reason why Lionel Messi gets paid more than the entirety of the women's soccer is because Lionel Messi makes people dream. Lionel Messi makes people salivate. Lionel Messi makes this grown man cry like a little girl when I watch him play. Therefore, I'm willing to pay money to see him. That's called the market deciding how much you get paid. So therefore, the degenerate whiners in the WNBA, the lobotomized fools in the women's soccer leagues, the ones who say like Colbert, like Trudeau, like Charlamagne the asshole, who say that Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton lost because they have vaginas and not penises, they are an affront to human reason. That's why I wrote The Parasitic Mind, because there is nothing more dangerous than a parasitized mind. And of course, the follow-up to the parasitic mind is suicidal empathy, which is to hijack our very laudable empathy system in ways that allows us to commit a term that I introduced in my forthcoming book, collective seppuku. So Charlamagne Tha God, shut the F up. You're a moron. Stephen Colbert, you're as funny as Ebola. Let's return to a sense of human reasons, to a semblance of actually understanding causal relationship, statistical inferencing, statistical realities, microeconomic laws, supply and demand, the invisible hand of the market, rational choice theory. What a bunch of assholes. Take care, everybody. I'm pissed.